Before the match against Chelsea, there were high expectations surrounding Marcus Rashford, especially because he knows the stadium well and usually performs at a high level against the Blues. However, he started on the bench and only came on in the second half, when the game was already compromised by Ronald Araujo's red card. After the match, in an interview with CBS Sports, he didn't hold back and revealed what went wrong in that painful defeat, and his words surprised many. But before we get into that, we need to talk about Laporta's response to Florentino Perez. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. It's not just Cristiano Ronaldo who's obsessed with Messi. Real Madrid is also obsessed with Barcelona. Barca president Joan Laporta hit back strongly at Florentino Perez's criticisms after the Madrid president claimed during the club's assembly that Barcelona had benefited in the past from payments made to Negreira and criticized Barca for supporting La Liga's proposal to play a league match abroad. During a visit to Andorra la Vella, Laporta dismissed Perez's claims, accusing Real Madrid of being obsessed with Barcelona. Now that I remember the statements made at Madrid's assembly, which I hadn't had the chance to comment on yet, and since I'm here in Andorra, I'm going to address them. I think they're absurd. They reveal Madrid's obsession with Barca. It seems they need to talk about Barca to justify who knows what. They're constantly meddling in the legal proceedings of the Negreira case, dragging it out like chewing gum even though they know there's nothing there. But it's their way of justifying something that simply isn't true. Barca never bribed referees, and referees generally do not favor Barca. They have always favored Real Madrid. For example, last week Madrid scored 2 goals that, in my opinion, clearly involved Bellingham's arm and Vinicius's broken nose on Iñaki. Those 2 goals should not have counted, and Barca would be leading the league right now. They have a persecution complex because of the greatest era in Barca's history. They didn't like that Barca was the best team in the world from 2004 to 2015, when Barca dominated, and now they're trying to find excuses that lead nowhere. We were the team playing the best football, recognized, admired, and respected for what we brought to the game, what we did, and how we did it. We won many titles, and Barca's style of play was admired worldwide, so stop making excuses. If they're suffering from this Barca-itis, I'm glad, because those are usually the moments when Barca succeeds and triumphs. Real Madrid TV tries to influence referees every single week. Laporta also commented on Florentino Perez's attacks on La Liga president Javier Tebas, something he finds worrying. After hearing those remarks at the assembly, attacking the president of La Liga, I can't help but think the worst. I've had my ups and downs with Javier Tebas. He's a noble person and very passionate about his role. We have a normal relationship, not a privileged one, and we're not seeking one. Meanwhile, Real Madrid has a confrontational relationship with La Liga and is obsessed with getting rid of him. They're going to try to put someone else in his place, but I don't trust that strategy. Tebas does everything he can for what's best for La Liga, so it makes me suspect that, pressured by Real Madrid, they're trying to remove him to put. Who? My friends, it's not just us fans who have been warning that Real Madrid constantly manipulates and influences refereeing. Besides Lamine Yamal and other players and coaches in La Liga, Joan Laporta is fully aware of what's going on, and he exploded in response to Madrid's accusations. They use media tools to pressure referees and shape on-field decisions, something that becomes even more obvious when the team is going through a rough period, lacking ideas to win matches and relying almost exclusively on Kylian Mbappe's goals. Recently, when Mbappe was asked about that dependence, he said,
Sí, pero eso tú no tienes que decir dependencia, tienes que decir que Kylian es uno de los responsables porque no hemos ganado.
Pero, ¿sientes que hay una especie de Mbappé dependencia, que el equipo depende mucho de tus goles?
Yo pienso que eso es una pregunta, no falta respeto a ti, que es una mala pregunta. Cada uno tiene su trabajo en el equipo. Yo mi trabajo es normal de marcar goles. Yo puedo decir que sin otros jugadores no ganamos los partidos. Yo pienso que cada partido, cada equipo tiene jugadores que tienen un trabajo a hacer para el equipo. El mío es de marcar goles, o al final es lo que puedo hacer para el equipo, pero yo no pienso de dependencia o algo así. Yo pienso que es más una cosa de periodista o de gente fuera.
Pero lo decía Kylian porque, perdóname, por ejemplo, tú no marcaste en Anfield, ni contra el Elche, ni contra el Rayo, y el equipo no ganó.
Sí, pero eso tú no tienes que decir dependencia, tienes que decir que Kylian es uno de los responsables porque no hemos ganado, porque mi trabajo es de marcar goles. Al final es eso que tú tienes que decir, no de dependencia. Tú tienes que venir y decir que Kylian no ha marcado y Kylian tiene que marcar.
If their victories are at risk, then the best way to apply pressure is to attack Barcelona and create narratives about manipulated refereeing in La Liga. In the Champions League, they don't make as much noise because they've historically been one of the most favored clubs by referees. In other words, they feel everything is under control there. But in La Liga, things haven't gone their way in recent years, so they need to make a lot of noise to try to pressure the referees into giving in. That's exactly what happened against Elche. Laporta is right. Both goals shouldn't have counted, and Barcelona would be leading the table right now. If you look at their recent match against Olympiacos, you can see they almost collapsed when the Greek team came close to equalizing. In that moment, Mbappe didn't apply his usual pressure on the referee to add more stoppage time, something he always does when the scoreline is against him. They knew Olympiacos was close to tying the game. This is yet another sign that the team is not in a good place. In recent times, Tebas has stopped making things easy for Real Madrid, and Florentino Perez is far from happy about it. He wants to push him out of the La Liga presidency and lobby behind the scenes for someone who will favor Madrid's interests, something extremely worrying for the future of the competition. This political battle is hurting the league, and Real Madrid refuses to accept the idea of falling behind Barcelona on the pitch. That's why they're doing everything they can to regain influence over the refereeing committee and install a new president who will serve their objectives and restore their dominance in La Liga. Rashford acknowledged that it was a tough night and praised Chelsea for taking advantage of Barcelona's weaknesses. It was going to be a difficult night. They're a very good team, young and full of energy. With one player less, it's easy to say the game gets complicated, but they also did everything right with the ball. They made the most of the numerical advantage and made it difficult for us to get into their box and defend properly. The Englishman added that Barcelona found themselves in a tricky situation after the red card. We either stayed compact and let the rhythm of the game slow down, or we tried to press high and left spaces. If the opponent is alert to the ball, they exploit those spaces. Looking ahead, Rashford admitted that Barcelona needs to stay alert in the remaining Champions League matches and win all of them if they want to secure a spot in the quarterfinals. The decisive factor is clear. They deserve the win. Now, for us, there's no room for mistakes. We have to win the remaining Champions League games. Today it was very hard to get in front of their goal. Even creating clear chances was a tough battle. They deserved the win, and we have to give them credit. When you lose, it's always easy to say everything needs to change, but there were moments when we were compact as a team and stuck to our game plan. We can't dwell too much on this match. We know what went wrong. We need to improve and get back to the level we've shown at other points this season. The first opportunity is this weekend. We'll try to win that game. Barcelona's 3-0 loss to Chelsea was a blow, but no one felt it more than Ronald Araujo, who was sent off in the first half. Deeply affected by the mistake, the captain received full support from the locker room, which rallied around him from the tunnel in London to the return to training. Teammates emphasized his importance within the squad, noting that Araujo is always the first to support others, especially the younger players. This time, it was he who needed help, and the squad's message was unanimous: mistakes happen and he should not bear the blame alone. The coaching staff also supported his selection against Chelsea, considering him ideal for the match profile. Despite the frustration, Araujo stated that he feels strong and ready to help. Ronald Araujo will miss Barcelona's match against Alaves this weekend. The defender has not trained in the past few days and, in addition to being psychologically affected, is dealing with a physical issue. The club has not yet released an official statement. Within the club, there is no doubt about his quick emotional recovery and leadership. Despite the criticism, the squad continues to support him. Araujo joins Fermin Lopez on the injury list, while Pedri has returned to training and is expected to be available for the match. Ahead of the game, Hansi Flick spoke about Lamine Yamal's physical condition and his reaction to being substituted in the match against Chelsea. Lamine is fine and feels good. Many players get upset when they're subbed off. I've been a player myself, and I didn't always react the way I should have. Cucurella is one of the best fullbacks in the world, an excellent player. But now, it's Lamine's turn to show that we need to forget the Chelsea game. That's when he needs to prove how good he is.